So if you have watched my last video, which is the HS129B3, you may have noticed that I was playing the Panzer 4G in order to get the HS129B3. Yes, you guessed it, I became a god in the Panzer 4G. So if you have watched my last video, which is the HS129B3, you may have noticed that I was playing the Panzer 4G in order to get the HS129B3. Yes, you guessed it, I became a god in the Panzer 4G. But honestly speaking though, even before I took up this vehicle and played around for a little bit, I already know that this is one of those vehicles that isn't really that difficult to become a god in any way. Like, I'm actually willing to say that this is one of the vehicles that is actually a little bit under-tiered. Like, back then it was at 3.7 battle rating at first, or maybe even back then when this was at 4.0 battle rating. But now, for obvious reasons, this thing got bumped down to 3.3 battle rating. Do I really have to say it, guys? Oh my god. Now, the reason why this thing would technically be a god in battle rating 3.3 or basically under-tiered is several reasons. And battle rating 3.3, there is a small chance that you get down-tiered to battle rating 2.3 or 2.7. Or maybe it's at battle rating 3.3 and all the tanks below you, 2.3, 2.7, 3.0, gets up tier to your 3.3 battles. So yeah, those tanks not exactly known for their armor. And their firepower, maybe it can penetrate you in some places, but they're usually these small caliber like American 37mm, British 40mm, and maybe even the Soviet 45mm that do have difficulty penetrating your armor, and even if it does, it really doesn't take up much of your crewmen. And the second reason is, all this time, when they're facing a German Panzer IV, they're usually facing like Panzer IVe, Panzer IVC, Panzer IV F1. Those things don't exactly have armor. 50mm upper front plate that you can easily penetrate, so much so that the Stuart's 37mm was deemed as a very powerful cannon. But then all of a sudden they get up tier to face the Panzer 4G. That has 50mm upper front plate right here, sitting underneath another 30mm plate right here. That's right, 80mm plate right there. Even the British 40mm, the hardest penetrating low tier, low caliber cannon, will have difficulty penetrating your tank. And not to mention, this tank has the option for additional armor, so that means there's another 20mm sitting on top of the 80mm plate, making this thing 100mm at battle rating 3.3. And of course there's some areas to be careful of, and I know some players are gonna be like, oh, no, not an issue, I can just shoot the driver viewport, right? Well, they modeled the viewport in, so now it's 75mm instead of 50. Yeah, have fun penetrating that. As well as, this may seem like a weak spot, but it's really easily rectified by putting like a bunch of jerry cans or whatever decorators you have on top of it. Now of course, players in the know have two options to actually deal with a Panzer 4G. Firstly, they can shoot this right here, 20mm plate that, even though it's actually quite well sloped, it's really not a lot of armor to go right through. Even Sherman 75mm can easily shoot right through this. And if they shoot right here, that's your driver and your gunner right there. Or maybe your ammunition, if you decided to bring everything like a damn fool. And the second spot that you can hit, this is just something you need to be careful of, because when you're playing the Panzer 4G, you're either facing P40, M4A1 Shermans, or T-34s. What they can do is just shoot your turret. And those tanks, their armor piercing shell usually have enough explosive mass, so much so that even though shooting your turret, Explosive mass will take out all of your turret crewmen, and sometimes even your driver and your machine gunner, despite how far apart they are. Now for something with a lot of additional armor and a bigger firepower, mobility on this thing is actually not bad. 300 horsepower engine that goes up to 40 kilometers an hour, building up to speed like around 20 to 30 kilometers an hour is really no big deal. And not to mention you have the option to have Oscaton, so driving off-road is not an issue either. And then moving on, the next reason why this thing shouldn't be a 3.3, your 75mm KWK-40 L43 cannon. Basically need long 75mm for the Panzer force. And of course, the old faithful Panzer Grenade 39, armor-piercing cap ballistic cap shell that pans out to 137mm of armor at point blank, 17 grams of explosive mass, and a very decent angle of penetration. You mean to tell me that this gun, firing this shell, is balanced against tanks at battle rating 2.3? And of course, in case you come across something you cannot penetrate, not like you will be, you have the option to carry Panzer Grenade 40, armor-piercing composite rigid or APCR, that pans up to 163mm of armor at point blank, no explosive filler, and a rather sketchy angle of penetration. Of which, at battle rating 3.3, the only tank that you will have difficulty penetrating is a KV-1. The thing is, you can do that with your Panzer Grenade 39. So if you want to bring APCR, then be my guest, maybe bring like 5 or 10, and that's about it. Not like you're going to be using it anyway. Now you do have a single MG34 right here. Ignore this one, this is just me fucking around. And unfortunately, it's at the mercy of the turret. So why is this an issue? If you come across one of those open top vehicles, you may find it difficult to just use this one machine gun to tear it up. So what you can do is bring a few high explosive, just in case. And then the other aspects of the gun, you can carry up to 87 rounds of ammunition. I just say bring like 30 or 40, maybe less. Don't bring everything because as you can see, you're a bloody explosive accident waiting to happen if you bring all 87. So please don't do that. Reloading rate 6.2 seconds, which is actually kind of fast for something this powerful. Now granted, I'm running expert crew on with maxed out weapon reloading and leadership. But something to keep in mind is that if you're not running expert crew on, your reload can be about as fast as 7.5 seconds, which is a little bit slow for this low of a battle rating, but I'll still say if you have crew points, please just use them. Vertical guidance, negative tank gun depression, which is not bad. Then finally, no gun stabilizer, but the gun doesn't really bounce too much when you stop, so this is not really a big deal. And so there you have it. This is the Panzer 4G, of which I still say, after all this time playing it and getting killed by some of the biggest bullshit ever, I still think this doesn't really belong at 3.3 at all. Best case scenario, you get down tier in this thing and yeah, you become destroyer of low tier. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about the Panzer 4G. Now let's take this thing on to battle and we'll do so well that we bring this thing back up to 3.7. Thank you for doing that.
Panzergranate geladen. Panzergranate geladen.
Really?
Toothfairy has come for all your keys! Ah!
Panzergranate geladen.
Yeah, I thought I heard something. So that's where you ran off to.
Panzergranate geladen.
We nope.
Panzergranate geladen. Panzergranate geladen.
Yeah, keep moving.
Fertig machen zum Motor an! Ziel abgeschaltet! Warte, Motor! Sprenggranate laden! Blattpanzer, 11 Uhr, Entfernung 300 Meter.
Sprenggranate geladen. Sprenggranate geladen.
That is just mean.
Panzergranate geladen. Attention to the designated grid zone.
Push a little bit more. Just a little more. Oh, you prick.
Panzergranate geladen.
Thank you for doing that.
Panzergranate geladen.
Stadtfahrer, vorwärts, auf! Verstanden, vorwärts!
Bro.
Panzergranate geladen.
Screaming Eagle! Ah!
That's rude. Oh my goodness.
Panzergranate geladen.
Hello. Oh, hello. Get on, please.
Panzergranate geladen.
Goodbye, crew. I'll take it though. That's what I get for pushing the. That's what I get for pushing the spawn. Ay.
Incoming!
Noisy lah.
Another zone captured, we have the advantage. We're ahead of the Panzer, come out, get out!
Shh. That's right.
Panzer, come out, get out!
You are made of stupid.
Attention to the map! Panzer, come out, get out! Attention to the designated grid square! Zones are under control. Thanks. Panzer, come out, get out! Panzer, come out, get out!
Yeah, this is disgusting.
Panzer, come out, get out! Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close.
It's alright.
Ziel zerstört!
That is all I needed.